You wake up, measure your sugar, and it's higher than when you went to sleep. And then you think, how is this possible if I haven't eaten anything? Breathe, because this happens to many people, and most of the time, it's not due to a lack of effort on your part. It's the way your body works during the early morning hours. I'm Dr. Sarah Walker, and today I'm going to show you why your sugar rises while you sleep and which foods really help to reduce this overnight spike, especially in your last meal of the day. You will learn about 10 foods that can be part of your dinner and, in some cases, a light snack later to help your body wake up more stable. And before I tell you about the first food, I have a quick request. Subscribe to the channel. Here I talk about health in simple language, especially for those who are 55 or older. Subscribe now because this video can give you a practical path without magic promises to stop waking up frustrated with the number on your meter. Now, let me explain something very important in a very clear way. While you sleep, your body doesn't shut down. It continues to work to keep your brain functioning. And one of the ways the body does this is by releasing glucose from the liver, especially in the early morning hours. This is normal. The problem is when this release becomes excessive. In those with type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, the body doesn't receive the right signal to control this liver production. Then the liver releases more sugar than it should, and you wake up with high levels. Many people call this the dawn phenomenon. I'm going to call it something simpler. Your body wakes up before you do. Now pay attention, because this is where many people go wrong trying to do the right thing. When they see their morning sugar is high, they try to solve it by stopping eating at night. They have a very small dinner or skip dinner altogether. And this can backfire for some people because the body, when it perceives low available energy, can react by releasing even more glucose from the liver as a protective mechanism. So the solution is not to starve yourself, nor is it to eat just anything and hope for the best. The solution is to learn how to build the last meal of the day the right way. And I'm going to tell you a quick story because this happens every day to many people. Helena used to tell me, during the day, I can manage to take care of myself. I avoid sweets, I avoid soda, I try to walk, but every morning I wake up with high sugar. I get discouraged, I even start to avoid measuring because it makes me angry. And so, she started eating less and less for dinner, thinking it would keep her sugar down. But her mornings got worse and she started waking up hungry and anxious. When we adjusted her last meal with specific foods and, on the right days, with a light and well-chosen snack, her mornings started to become more predictable. It's not a miracle, it's a strategy. Now I need to say something as responsibly as possible, without scaring you. If you use insulin or medications that can significantly lower your glucose, do not adjust your doses on your own just because you're changing your evening meal. If your numbers start to improve, great. Then you take this to your doctor and discuss adjustments safely. And another very important thing, if you wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats, shaking, confusion, palpitations, or feeling faint, this could be low blood sugar during the night. In this case, the path is different and requires evaluation because it's not just high morning sugar. So don't ignore your body's signals. Now let's get to the 10 foods and I'll teach you how to use each one without complicating things with real-life examples. First food, leafy greens at dinner, kale, spinach, arugula, lettuce, chard, watercress. Leafy greens help for a simple reason: fiber, volume, and minerals. They make the meal digest more slowly, more stable, and this reduces the chance of it turning into a spike and crash. And there's another thing. They help you eat less of what sabotages your early morning because many people have dinners with a lot of rice, a lot of bread, a lot of pasta. When you add a large quantity of greens, you automatically reduce the space for fast-acting carbohydrates. The right way to use greens is to treat them as a large part of the plate, not as a garnish. A large salad with a simple dressing or greens quickly sautéed with garlic and a small drizzle of olive oil, or greens on the plate alongside vegetables. And here's a simple tip. If you want flavor and pleasure without sugar, use lemon vinegar in your dressing, herbs, and light spices. This adds flavor without spiking glucose. Second food, avocado. Avocado helps because it combines good fat and fiber, and this improves satiety. And why is satiety so important here? Because the biggest enemy of early morning sugar in real life is the late night snack. It's the person who has dinner and 2 hours later reaches for bread, crackers, sweets, chocolate milk, or just a little something. Avocado helps reduce this urge in many people when used in the right portion. You can use a small piece at dinner, in a salad, or as a sugar-free dessert, with cinnamon on top, for example. Just don't turn avocado into an overindulgence. It's healthy, but it's caloric. The idea is a small, consistent portion, not half an avocado every day. Third food, chia seeds. Chia is one of the most useful foods for stability because it's concentrated fiber. When you hydrate chia seeds, they form a gel. This gel slows down digestion and helps reduce the glucose spike after a meal, and it has a huge practical benefit. It helps the intestines. Many people with diabetes suffer from constipation, and a disordered gut often goes hand in hand with disordered glucose because the routine gets worse. How to use it? You let the chia seeds hydrate and mix them into plain, unsweetened yogurt. Or you can sprinkle them over a small portion of fruit or use them in a simple preparation. Start with a small amount. If you add too much chia at once, it can cause gas, bloating, or even more constipation if you don't drink enough water. So go slow and observe. Fourth food, walnuts and almonds. The goal here is very clear: to replace the wrong snack. A small handful of walnuts or almonds helps because it has good fat, fiber, and a bit of protein. This curbs hunger and reduces the craving for sweets. And this is especially useful for those who have that dangerous time after dinner when anxiety strikes. Now beware of two traps. First trap, eating too much. Healthy doesn't mean limitless. Second trap, nuts with sugar, with chocolate, with honey, with a coating. Then you lose the purpose. Think of a small, plain handful, and that's it. Fifth food, berries. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries when available. They tend to have more fiber and less explosive sweetness than very ripe and very sweet fruits, so they are a better option for dessert in a small portion. And here's a rule I want you to remember. Whole fruit is different from juice. Juice, even natural, is liquid sugar without fiber, and liquid sugar tends to spike quickly. So, if you're having fruit at night, prefer a small portion of whole fruit and observe how your body reacts. And if you notice that any fruit at night leaves you with high sugar in the morning, you adjust. You can have fruit earlier in the day and leave the evening more focused on protein and fiber. Sixth food, plain yogurt, preferably higher in protein. Plain yogurt works well for many diabetics because it provides protein, and protein helps with stability and reduces snacking. It also becomes a perfect base for chia, cinnamon, and berries in small portions. What you need to look for here is choosing unsweetened yogurt and observing your tolerance. If you have reflux, gastritis, or a lot of sensitivity to dairy, some yogurts can worsen symptoms. So you observe your body. It's not mandatory. And one more detail, fruit-flavored yogurt is often a dessert. Read the label. What you want is plain, unsweetened yogurt. Seventh food, cinnamon. Cinnamon has become trendy and many people overdo it, so I'm going to set you on the right path. Cinnamon can help as a support for some people, mainly because it enhances taste and reduces cravings for sweets. It does not cure diabetes, it does not replace medicine, it does not guarantee results. Its real value is that it helps you maintain a routine without sugar. You can put cinnamon in plain yogurt, in an unsweetened tea, or on a small portion of fruit. And here's a simple precaution. Don't turn cinnamon into a daily megadose. Use it as a spice, as support, and observe. Eighth food, vinegar, especially as a dressing. Vinegar can help some people reduce the post-meal spike when used as part of a dressing because it slightly changes the body's response to digestion, but it needs to be done with common sense. Never drink vinegar straight. It irritates the throat, irritates the stomach, and can harm your teeth. Use it as a dressing on your salad or well diluted and observe how you feel. If you have gastritis, severe reflux, or feel that vinegar causes a burning sensation, don't force it. You choose other strategies. The goal is stability, not suffering. Ninth food, beans, lentils, and legumes. This is a true pillar. Legumes combine fiber and plant-based protein, and this greatly improves the quality of dinner. For many people, swapping a dinner based on bread, pasta, and white rice for a dinner that includes beans or lentils with a salad and protein changes their morning because it improves satiety, reduces snacking, and improves the metabolic terrain over time. If beans cause a lot of bloating, there's a way. Smaller portions, more chewing, observing which type works best for you, and increasing gradually. 10th food, dark chocolate in a small portion. I know many people want a little something sweet at night, and when they try to cut everything out at once, they snap and eat worse later. A small portion of dark chocolate can be a better alternative than a sugary dessert, but the keyword is small. If you eat too much, it turns into sugar and fat all the same. So, think of this as a tool to control cravings, not as a free-for-all dessert. Now, I want you to understand what really makes these foods work. It's not one food alone, it's the combination of your dinner. So now I'm going to give you practical models for dinner and snacks for you to apply today. First model, a stability plate for dinner, a large base of leafy greens and vegetables, a simple protein, chicken, fish, eggs, lean meat, or whatever you use, and a portion of beans or lentils. This dinner tends to secure hunger and reduce the chance of your sugar rising on its own during the early morning. Second model, a light dinner with a smart snack. If you're the type who dines early and feels hungry later, instead of reaching for bread and sweets, you have a light, planned snack. Plain, unsweetened yogurt with chia, or a small handful of nuts, or a small portion of berries with yogurt, and you observe your morning. Third model, a dinner that avoids the most common mistake. The most common mistake is a dinner with too many carbohydrates and too little fiber. Pizza, bread, pasta, sandwiches, and then dessert on top of that. This pattern usually makes the morning worse for many people. So, if you like carbohydrates at dinner, the secret is portion and context. Less flour, more salad, more protein, and no sugary drinks. Now I'm going to talk about a part that changes everything and that almost no one explains calmly. Not all high morning sugar has the same cause. There are 3 common situations. Situation 1, your sugar rises in the morning because your body is waking up before you. In this case, a stable dinner helps, sleep helps, stress management helps, and consistency helps. Situation 2, your sugar rises because you had a late, heavy dinner or snacked on sweets. In this case, adjusting your dinner and snack resolves it more quickly. Situation 3, you have high morning sugar because you had low sugar during the night and your body reacted. This is more common in those who use certain medications and needs to be evaluated more carefully. That's why I always say it's not about panicking over an isolated number, it's about observing the pattern. Now, how do you observe the pattern without becoming a prisoner of your meter? You choose 3 nights a week to test a more stable dinner and observe how you wake up. If you notice an improvement, great, you found a path. If you notice it doesn't improve, you haven't failed. You just need to adjust another piece. Dinner time, sleep, stress, sugary drinks, or talk to your doctor about your treatment plan. Now I'm going to tell you the 3 most common dinner mistakes that sabotage your early morning sugar. First mistake, eating too late. The later you eat, the greater the chance that your body is heavily digesting when it should be resting. This worsens sleep, worsens metabolism, and worsens the morning for many people. Second mistake, fast-acting carbohydrates as the base. Bread, pasta, white rice in large quantities, potatoes in large quantities, and little fiber. This pattern spikes glucose and leaves you hungry later. Third mistake, hidden sugary drinks and desserts. Juice, soda, sweetened coffee, sweetened tea, dessert, crackers. Sometimes people don't even consider this food, but the body does. Now I want to give you a simple 1-week plan for you to test without being radical. First step, on 3 nights, have a dinner with plenty of greens, a protein, and beans or lentils, and avoid sugary drinks. Second step, if you feel hungry later, choose a planned light snack. like unsweetened yogurt with chia or a small handful of nuts instead of bread and sweets. Third step, observe your morning, not just the number, but how you wake up. Do you wake up desperately hungry, tired, with a headache, with a dry mouth? These clues help to understand if the problem is more related to poor sleep, stress, apnea, or diet. And since I mentioned dry mouth, I'll give you a quick tip. If you wake up with a dry mouth every day, it could be dehydration, but it could also be breathing through your mouth, snoring, and sleep apnea. So if this is frequent, it's worth observing and talking to your doctor. Now, to finish, I'll summarize in a way that sticks. If you wake up with high sugar, your goal is to make your dinner more stable and your body more relaxed during the night. And the 10 foods that help on this path are leafy greens, avocado, chia, nuts, berries, plain unsweetened yogurt, cinnamon with common sense, vinegar as a dressing if you tolerate it, beans and lentils, and dark chocolate in a small portion when you need to control a craving. But the secret is not the food alone. The secret is the plate as a whole, the time of your dinner, and the end of late-night sugary snacking. And now, before I finish, I have one last request. Subscribe to the channel. In the next video, I'll show you which dinners seem healthy, but leave your sugar high in the morning and how to adjust them without going hungry. And comment below which one you are going to test tonight. Leafy greens, chia, beans, plain yogurt, or nuts. I'm Dr. Sarah Walker. And remember, you are not a hostage to the number. When you learn your body's pattern and adjust your last meal intelligently, you give your body the chance to